Canada's Netflix tax is finally here. Hi, I'm Brian Lilley, political columnist for the Toronto Sun. We've been hearing about the idea of a Netflix tax for a long time. Many of you might remember the really cringy ad that Stephen Harper put out back in the 2015 campaign, warning that if the Trudeau Liberals were elected, they'd bring in a Netflix tax. It's something they've always denied, and now it's finally here. Now, let's be honest, this is actually about leveling the playing field. And in some ways, that's a good idea, but did they have to level the playing field by making it worse for Netflix and Prime and Paramount Plus and Disney Plus and all the other streaming services? Or couldn't they have reduced the burden on Canada's broadcasters? According to the latest CRTC edict, the streaming services that operate in Canada that aren't currently part of the Canadian broadcast system will now have to pay 5% of their Canadian revenue, that's revenue, not profits, into a fund that will pay for Canadian media productions. That'll be movie productions, TV, but also local TV and radio newscasts. It's going to fund, well, things that aren't normally funded by the other broadcasters. So this is a bit of an anomaly, but it's going to bring in about $200 million a year. So if you have an Amazon Prime account and you watch that streaming service or Netflix or any of the others, things are going to get more expensive. This is the only thing the Trudeau Liberals know how to do. Look, I'm not saying that there shouldn't be a level playing field. I'm just saying, why make things worse? The idea that Netflix and Amazon Prime and these other streaming services shouldn't be paying the same taxes as Crave or Canadian broadcasters, well, that doesn't make sense. You're going to charge Canadian broadcasters or Canadian streaming services a fee, you should charge the same. But if you're going to add in all these guys, well, why not lower the fees for everybody else? That's not the CRTC's way. That's not the Liberal government's way. Their view is kind of what Reagan warned us about. The Liberal view on taxation and fees is if it's moving, tax it. If it stopped moving, subsidize it. And that's what they're doing here. This is not going to help the Canadian broadcast industry. This is not going to help the long-term health of our digital economy. In fact, it might even drive some players away and say, you know what, we don't need to be in Canada because we don't need to give up 5% of our revenues to be able to operate there. We need a different worldview when it comes to broadcasting. That includes both for the streaming services, the domestic and foreign, and for the broadcast services that exist already and are struggling to get by. But the CRTC, they're stuck in their 1970s mentality, the same one that brought us CanCon regulations that says Bryan Adams isn't a Canadian music artist. We need to drop the CRTC. Instead, the Trudeau government's putting them in charge of the internet. How do you think that's going to go? Let me know what you think. Drop a comment down below. Share this on social media. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.